Hi everyone, for today's video I'm going to be playing with makeup, but the main reason why I'm making this video primarily is because it's the height of summer here in the Philippines, so it's very hot and humid, and a lot of messages that I get, especially from my friends, like, they're asking me for tips and tricks on how to summer proof their makeup. So I hope that in showing you guys some of the things that I do and some of the products that I prefer to use at this time of the season can prove helpful in making sure that your makeup stays longer. Now, first things first, it's very important that you have to have the right skincare on, especially for your skin type. This just really helps in making your makeup stay on longer. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to start by using a toner. So this is from VMB and this is formulated for oily skin. So rubbing this on my skin, it just prepares my skin for the makeup that's coming on, and this will also help in controlling some of my sebum that's being produced, and it will also help in close down my pores temporarily. All right, so that's the toner, and next what we're going to do is we're going to apply this vitamin C serum, and this is just a great way of actually helping the skin fight oxidative stress. So I'm just massaging it well into my skin. Okay, so once the vitamin C has settled on my skin, it's time to apply some moisturizer. Now this is a moisturizer that's actually formulated for combination skin. And although I'm oily skin, I've said it before, I don't really like my skin to be super matte. And this moisturizer helps in maintaining well-balanced skin. And this is very important at this time of the year because it's very hot. And the thing with the heat is that it can dehydrate the skin. So it's very important to keep your skin moisturized because in the long run, this will also help your makeup stay on longer on the skin. Now, since I don't have any eye cream at the moment because it is out of stock, I'm gonna add a teeny tiny amount on my under eye area because I'm planning to use concealers that have long wear formulas in them. So that's gonna be drying. All right, what I'm gonna do is with a piece of tissue, I'm just gonna gently remove any excess moisturizer from my skin because again, less is always more. Let's remove some of that sweat that's already happening on my forehead. All right, and then lastly, let's apply some sunscreen. This has an SPF of 70. It's very important to apply sunscreen because after all, sun damage is permanent. Now, the great thing about this sunscreen is that it forms a film on top of my skin, so it becomes like a barrier, and this prevents moisture loss. And the main reason why I'm saying that it's important to keep your skin hydrated is because I am planning on using this long wear formula stick foundation from Revlon. So I'm just gonna be applying a very thin layer on my skin. Now, the thing with long wearing products, they have a formula wherein it can be drying in the long run. And if you don't moisturize your skin properly, once your skin starts to become dehydrated and dry, the foundation starts to come off and it just sits on top, or it becomes patchy, or they form clumps on the skin. So moisturizing and priming the skin is very important with that. Now, one thing you guys have to remember is that when it gets very, very hot, the body has a way of cooling itself, and that's by releasing excessive heat through sweating, and that includes releasing a lot of sebum on the face. And that in itself is the reason why your makeup degrades faster during the summer. So adding thin layers of foundation on the skin and building to the coverage that you need is key. All right, and next what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply some concealer. So I'm just going to dot a very small amount here in the inner corner. That's where I'm usually dark, and here at the outer corner. And I'm just going to blend that in and buff it into my skin. I'm just working with very thin layers, and then I'm just building up to the coverage that I want. And the great thing about using very thin layers is that it's actually quite easy to fix the makeup if ever it degrades, because having one thick layer is much more difficult to fix because of the texture that it created. So again, less is always more. Okay, so now I'm applying a very thin layer of translucent powder. Now this is just to set the concealer and to tone down shine. Now I'm not going to apply a ton of powder because the great thing about using these long wear formulas is that they actually dry to a matte finish. So that kind of helps also because you don't have, again, to pile on a ton of product in order to get the look that you want. So I'm just applying powder at the areas where I am usually oily, and that's here on the inner part of my cheek, near my nose, on my nose, and on my forehead. Alright, now it's time for our eyes, and I'm going to be using this very colorful palette from Dior. This is their 5 Color Couture in Denim. Now I think I've said it before, like I have been in search of actually blue eyeshadow palettes because I haven't seen a lot of them being marketed at this time. And you know, for me, blue is one of those colors that's actually great to use, especially for people like me who have brown eyes, because this really complements brown eyes and it just makes the browns of my eyes come out. So I'm so excited to try this. Okay, so first things first is add an eye base, and I'm just going to be using my fingers for this, and I'm just gonna blend it all over my eyelid. Okay, now I'm so sure that when you saw this palette, some of you guys are like, oh, that's just too much, it's just too colorful, it's just too bright. But then again, you know, this is so perfect for the season because summer is all about color, and you know, the sky is always blue in summer except when it rains or when it's cloudy like today. But it's just a very nice way of actually wearing color in the eyes, because so far everybody's just like, you know, been wearing a lot of neutrals, golds, even like oranges and reds. Alright, so as you can see here, the Denim 5 Color Couture from Dior is actually a very playful palette. Now I don't really have any type of eyeshadow treatment in mind, but I'm just gonna play it by ear. I also do know that this is quite pigmented, so it's also best to actually work with this slowly and build onto the intensity that you want. So what I want to do first is I want to use this color here, and I'm gonna apply that all over the eyelid. Wow, that's a very vibrant color, very pretty, and it's highly pigmented as well. I thought that it was going to be a very light color on the eyes, but it's not. So I don't know if you guys can instantly see it, but it's actually making my eye color come out already. Okay, so let's just blend out the edges so that we can have a nice smooth transition of color. It's a very pretty color. I love it. It actually reminds me of like one of the Revlon cream eyeshadow colors. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to get this deeper shade here, and I'm going to use that to emphasize the socket line. Okay, now that I'm actually like blending the color, I can see that it has a little bit of some green tint to it, but I'm actually glad that the colors are actually blending well together. Alright, so I've finally got the shape that I want for my eyes. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to pick up the deepest shade here, and I'm going to use that to enhance my lash line. So I'm just working with it in very thin layers, pressing the pigment well between my lash line. Okay, so I'm just building the intensity of the blue color, and I'm trying to enhance my lash line at the same time as well. That's a very pretty color. I like that. Okay, and whatever is left on that brush, I actually want to add a flick here on the outer corner so that it just helps in elongating my eye and creating that lift that I need. Okay, now I'm gonna go back and tap a teeny tiny bit of that very deep blue shade, and I'm just gonna add that color here into the outer portion of my eye just so we have more depth. Wow, it's a very playful color. I love this. Alright, I'm picking up some of this color here, and I'm gonna line my lower lash line with it. And I'm gonna go back, and then I'm gonna dip some of this brush into the deepest blue here, and I'm just gonna tap that here in the outermost corner of my lower lash line. That's pretty. I like that. And now I'm just going to blend everything and just soften the edges. Alright, so now what I want to do is I want to enhance my lash line some more. So I have my cream eyeshadow stick here, and I'm just applying this color on my lower lash line. And I'm gonna wiggle it in between my lashes on my upper lash line, just so we have some depth. But I think I need to blend out some more, just making sure that it fades fairly well into the inner corner. Okay, so now what I want to do is I actually want to add some mascara, starting at the very base, and I'm just building the intensity. So this is a waterproof mascara this time. This will really help maintain the curl of your lashes, and this will also help maintain, like, you know, the intensity of the eye color that's going on in your eyes. And as always, I'm concentrating a lot of the mascara here at the outer portion of my lashes, just so we have a nice lift going on. Ah, very pretty. And let's add that on our lower lash line as well. And to finish this eye, I'm gonna pick up some of this gold here and apply it in the inner corner. And I'm just gonna apply a teeny tiny color here just to help with the blending, but I'm not gonna apply a lot of the shimmer on the lower portion of my brow bone because I don't want that to bring my brow bone down and make my eyes look much more droopy and sleepy. All right, so I'm just gonna finish my other eye and then I'm gonna come back. Alright, so my left eye is complete, and as you can see, it's really making the brown color of my eyes come out. And I really love, like, you know, when I blink, the light reflects from the eyeshadow and it's just bringing drama, which I really need in my eyes because truthfully, like, you know, when I open my eyes fully and I just look straight at you, I lose all of the color and it just looks like I have a nice smoky blue eyeshadow. But when I blink, it adds to the drama. So I really like it. So let's continue. Alright, so now I want to add color into my cheeks, and I am actually wanting to use this lip color from Laura Mercier. This is called L'Orange. So it's a very nice pinky orangey tone, and I'm just going to be using my fingers for this, and I'm just going to tap a color here on the apples of my cheeks, and I'm just going to blend it. So it's going to work really well in complementing the blue tones of my eyeshadow. And I'm only applying this on the apples of my cheek. So when I look straight at you, it's really emphasizing the colors of my eyes. Like, you know, it's also lifting the color of my skin tone. So placing the color here on the apple of my cheeks just plumps up my cheeks some more. Just makes it rounder, fuller, childlike. And I like doing that because after all, this is a very playful look. And with the brush that I used earlier for the foundation, I'm just blending it and diffusing the color, making sure that it blends well into my skin. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set that blush in place with powder so that it lasts longer. This is also one of the great things, you know, when you're using lipstick as blush, because they tend to last longer. Like, over time, it becomes a stain. All right, there you go. And now for lips, I'm going to be using this nice lip pencil. This is a satin lip pencil from Nars. Oh my god, I can hear thunder. Just a minute, let me just finish the video. Okay, so this is a very nice pinky color. And the reason why I didn't choose, you know, matte formula, because the skin's already matte and the eyeshadow is quite colorful. So any strong color in the lip is gonna scream 80s. So I'm just trying to minimize the color, making sure that, you know, one color doesn't overcome the other, because it's gonna look clownish if it's just gonna be too colorful, if you know what I mean. Okay, so we're actually almost done. And what I want to do now is I just want to emphasize my eyebrows a tiny bit. So I'm just going to lightly fill in the gaps and create balance. Alright, so I think I'm done. Okay, just final checks. I'm loving how the blue eyeshadows is really lifting my skin tone. It's looking very playful. I really like it. And I'm also so glad that the Revlon foundation stick that I use is not as matte as I thought that it was going to be, because it's actually been a while since I've used that foundation. But I do want to add a little bit of some shimmer and glow onto my cheeks. So I'm gonna revisit my Guerlain Pearl de Satin because this has very nice orangey and pinky tones. So I'm just gonna pick up some of that powder from here and I'm just going to gently sweep it here on my cheeks. Alright, so I guess this is it. This is the complete look. As you can see, blue eyeshadow works really well with people who have brown eyes. The browns are really coming out, and mind you, I am not using any black eyeliner at all. The only black thing on my eyes are the mascara, and I'm just using different hues of blues on my eyes. So isn't that great? Now don't be scared with using color in your eyes, like especially blue. Just make sure that you tone down everything else on the face. Don't use a vibrant lip color or a vibrant blush color because this will bring you back straight into the 80s. But then again, if that's a look that you're going for, then go for it. But again, balance is the key. Tone down more than one element of your makeup and just make sure that the colors that you're using will complement the blue eyeshadow and it will just remain the focus of your makeup look. So that's it for me today, guys. If you have any more questions about the makeup that I did today and the products that I use, please leave them down at the comments box below and let's have a conversation about this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're having a good day wherever you are. And I'm so glad the rain didn't pour while I was making this video. Alright guys, take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.